Something huge is building in New York, and Alex Eala hasn't even hit her first official US Open ball of 2026. Filipino fans are preparing to turn Flushing Meadows into one of the loudest, most emotional home-away-from-home atmospheres in tennis, and even one of the biggest names on the men's tour is admitting that he can't wait to experience what people are now calling the Eala Effect. The wild part? Alex is only 21, yet everywhere she goes, crowds seem to follow. From Washington to Toronto, from Cincinnati to New York, Philippine flags have become almost as recognizable at her matches as the player herself. And now, with the US Open approaching, the biggest stage in American tennis could be next. New York has one of the largest Filipino communities in the United States, so the moment Eala's US Open plans became clear, excitement started spreading fast. Fans began discussing tickets, match schedules, seating sections, watch parties, and ways to show up together at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. Some fan projections have suggested that thousands of Filipino supporters could be in attendance during Eala's New York appearances. Whether the final number lands at 3,000 or somewhere else, one thing already feels obvious: she won't be walking into Flushing Meadows alone. And nobody understands that better right now than Felix Auger-Aliassime. The Canadian star will team up with Eala in the US Open Mixed Doubles Championship, putting together one of the most intriguing pairings in the entire field. Auger-Aliassime has twice reached the US Open singles semifinals, and he also owns an Olympic bronze medal in mixed doubles. But even with all that experience, he has openly acknowledged that partnering with Eala comes with something different: her crowd. Speaking about the partnership, Auger-Aliassime said it would be a great opportunity to experience the Eala effect and the fan base surrounding her. He even joked that although Eala is younger than he is, she may be the one carrying the crowd. That tells you just how quickly Eala's status has changed. This isn't hype created overnight. The momentum has been building across North America. At tournaments this season, Filipino supporters have shown up early, stayed late, filled seats and turned neutral venues into something that feels almost like a home court. In Toronto, the demand surrounding Eala became impossible to ignore. Crowds packed in to watch her, Philippine flags appeared throughout the stands, and the atmosphere became one of the biggest stories of the tournament. And then there was Washington. Eala didn't just attract attention there. She delivered the biggest title of her career. Facing American star Jessica Pegula in the final, Eala fought back from a set down and won 4-6, 6-4, 6-0 to capture her first WTA Tour Singles Championship. The victory made her the first player from the Philippines to win a WTA Tour level singles title, and the Filipino heavy crowd made its presence felt throughout the match. Even Pegula had to acknowledge it afterward, praising the atmosphere while joking that Eala's fans were definitely not fun to play against. That title pushed Eala to a career-high ranking of world number 20, another milestone for Philippine tennis. She also reached the round of 16 at Wimbledon in 2026, adding another breakthrough result to a season that has completely changed the way the tennis world talks about her. Then came Cincinnati, where the story wasn't about another trophy but about resilience. Eala faced Amanda Anisimova and took the opening set before Anisimova came back to win 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. On paper, it was a loss. But once again, the crowd around Eala told a larger story. Filipino supporters stayed invested through every momentum swing, proving that their support isn't tied only to victories. They are showing up for the journey. That is exactly why opponents are beginning to understand that playing Eala can feel different. Former doubles world number 1 Rennie Stubbs has spoken about the mental challenge opponents face when they step onto a court filled with Eala supporters. Her point was simple: when so much of the crowd is emotionally invested in one player, the opponent has to prepare not only for Eala's left-handed game, timing, and ability to redirect the ball, but also for the atmosphere surrounding her. Now multiply that energy by New York. The US Open mixed doubles field is loaded with star power. Novak Djokovic and Aryna Sabalenka are among the headline names. Iga Swiatek and Casper Ruud are entered. Elena Rybakina and Taylor Fritz are another high-profile combination. And Eala and Auger-Aliassime are right there in the middle of it all, officially receiving a wildcard into the mixed doubles main draw. On name recognition alone, other teams may have more Grand Slam trophies, but when it comes to crowd energy, Eala and Auger-Aliassime could become one of the tournament's most entertaining pairings. Their partnership also makes sense beyond the hype. Both players have connections to the Rafa Nadal Academy. Eala spent important developmental years training in Mallorca, while Auger-Aliassime previously worked with Tony Nadal. Their teams and shared agency connections helped bring the partnership together, and now those separate tennis paths are meeting on one of the sport's biggest stages. Eala herself has made it clear how excited she is. She described the US Open as an electric place to play doubles and said the strength of the mixed doubles lineup makes the opportunity especially exciting. And the New York experience won't stop with mixed doubles. Eala is also scheduled to take part in the 2026 Stars of the Open exhibition at Arthur Ashe Stadium on August 27. She will face her friend and rising American star Iva Jovic in a one-set exhibition match. Joao Fonseca, Lerner Tien, Amanda Anisimova, Marta Kostyuk, Arthur Fils and Alex Michelsen are also part of the lineup. That Eala-Jovic matchup adds another layer of intrigue because Jovic has beaten Eala in both of their previous tour-level meetings in 2026. So when they step onto Arthur Ashe Stadium, Eala will have another chance to test herself against a player who has had the better of her so far. And that detail matters because the original excitement around this event isn't about pretending the result has already happened. It hasn't. The Stars of the Open exhibition is still ahead. What makes it compelling is the anticipation. Arthur Ashe Stadium, two young stars, a growing rivalry, and potentially thousands of fans ready to make an exhibition feel anything but casual. For Eala, that growing spotlight is becoming part of everyday life. Just a year ago, she was still fighting to establish herself consistently in Grand Slam main draws. At the 2025 US Open, she made history by becoming the first Filipino player in the Open era to win a Grand Slam singles main draw match. Now she returns to New York as a WTA champion, a Wimbledon fourth-rounder and the world number 20, putting her in position to be seated at the US Open for the first time. Think about how fast that transformation has happened. She went from promising prospect to history maker, from history maker to crowd magnet, from crowd magnet to WTA champion. And now one of the world's best male players is talking about how excited he is to borrow some of her crowd energy. That is the Eala Effect. But there is another side to all of this, and Eala knows it. Massive support brings opportunity, but it also brings expectation. Every time thousands of fans arrive carrying Philippine flags, every time social media erupts after one of her matches, and every time another headline declares her the future of the sport, the pressure grows too. Eala has acknowledged that reality. She has said there are moments when the attention feels heavy and other moments when it is fun, while also recognizing how extraordinary the entire experience has become. That may end up being the biggest challenge in New York. Not the noise, not the opponents, not even the ranking. It will be finding the balance between embracing the moment and staying locked into the tennis. Because the US Open can swallow players whole. The crowds are bigger, the media attention is louder, the schedule can be chaotic. Every match feels like an event. And if Eala makes a deep run, the pressure will increase with every round. But maybe that is exactly where her supporters become an advantage. When she looks into the stands and sees red, blue, white and yellow flags, she isn't just seeing fans. She is seeing a reminder of how far this journey has reached. Filipino families in New York, fans traveling from other states, supporters watching from Manila and communities around the world are all sharing the same moment. That is why the Eala Effect is becoming bigger than ticket sales or crowd noise. It represents visibility. It represents a country that has never had this kind of presence in elite professional tennis suddenly seeing one of its own competing with the best players in the world. And now the biggest question remains unanswered. What happens when Alex Eala finally steps onto the court at the 2026 US Open with all of that energy behind her? Could she make another historic Grand Slam run? Could she and Felix Auger-Aliassime become the surprise team of the mixed doubles event? Could Arthur Ashe Stadium become another chapter in a season that already feels unbelievable? Nobody knows yet. And that is exactly what makes New York so exciting. Alex Eala's story is still being written, the crowds are still growing, and the biggest matches are still ahead. The Eala Effect has reached the Big Apple. Now we get to find out just how far it can go. If you're excited to see what Eala can do in New York, hit the like button, subscribe for more tennis stories, and tell us in the comments, how far do you think Alex Eala can go at the US Open, and can she and Felix Auger-Aliassime make a serious run in mixed doubles?